Hey guys, Adam here, and welcome to another episode of On the Couch Rewind. And we're continuing X-Men Week with the Wolverine. Now, if you guys remember my review of X-Men First Class, I enjoyed it. If you remember my review of X-Men Origins Wolverine, well, here's a recap. I hate this movie. I hate it. They fucked it up. They royally fucked it up. How? Yeah, I think people died afterwards. I barely remember. Anyway, so how does the Wolverine hold up? I fucking love it. This movie, this is the Wolverine movie we the fans have been asking for. Dark, gritty, violent. Now, while it's not R-rated violent, it's pretty close, unlike X-Men Origins. This is a really good Wolverine movie. This is what fans have been asking. So the plot is, the Wolverine takes place, let's say 5 years after X-Men Last Stand. The X-Men have disbanded. Wolverine is living in the woods on his own, having to live with the consequences of him killing Jean Grey. But then one day he is founded by a young woman from Japan who brings him back to Tokyo to visit a dying friend. As this happens, he is thrust into a conspiracy that involves his friend's granddaughter, and so he must protect her, which means he must also break his vow of violence and in order to protect this young woman. And it gets pretty good from there. So as I said, I love this movie. This is a really good Wolverine solo film. But it's far from perfect. Would I consider this the definitive Wolverine? Yes. Yes, I would. Or the closest thing to it. I would consider this the closest thing to a definitive Wolverine story. Hugh Jackman is on the top of his game in this movie. Honestly, I can't believe it's taken 6 movies for him to finally become the Wolverine. X-Men, he was Wolverine. X2, he was definitely Wolverine. X3, he was a much more comic booky Wolverine. X-Men, let's pass that. But this movie, this is where where you definitely feel like he's Wolverine. He's a man with demons. He's a man who's having to live with the consequences of seeing people die around him, knowing people die around him. And when he has to fight, he will fight and he will fucking kill you. I'm not even kidding. He murders people in this movie, and he murders them brutally. He's really that good at it. And unlike that other movie, he's the best at what he does in this movie, and what he does isn't very nice. But it's fucking awesome. So, as I said, Hugh Jackman is in the top of his game in this movie. He looks like a fucking beast in this movie. He's an animal. The moment his claws pop out, he's awesome. He's awesome when he doesn't, and he's also very funny. He does crack a few good one-liners. a few jokes, and he's really funny without making Wolverine look goofy. And it definitely has taken over a decade for him to perfect that. And one thing I like about this movie is how it definitely feels like a modern day samurai film. It really does. Because they even state that. Wolverine is a Ronin. He's a samurai without a master. Wolverine has always been known as someone who's a very gruff, dangerous man who will murder people if they piss him off. If they even so much as look at him wrong or scratch their nose in a way he doesn't like, he will murder you. But he is a man with honor. He's a man with morals. And that's what's great about Wolverine. He is very much a samurai. A samurai cursed with eternal life. So seeing him without his powers for the majority of the movie is actually interesting, because you see him bleed. They find a way to take away his healing factor to where in the fight scenes he's bleeding all over the place, and he's dying. He almost dies. You actually are really worried about Wolverine in this movie, because you're like, oh my god, is he going to survive? What the hell? Is he going to survive? Well, of course he survives. He gets his healing factor back. But but you're really concerned about him because you've known him for over a decade, and you're really concerned he's gonna die. But enough about Wolverine. Let's go with some of the supporting characters. Famke Janssen is back as Jean Grey, or the ghost of Jean Grey. I actually like her in this. And of course I always liked her as Jean Grey, but here she's playing a different kind of Jean Grey. She's one who loves Wolverine. I wouldn't say she's a ghost, more just if Jean Grey did reciprocate Wolverine's feelings, and he reciprocate Wolverine's feelings, this is how their life could have been. And that's very nice. It goes to show that he's definitely going crazy, but it's really nice. They definitely, I want to say they have right chemistry, but they definitely look good together. Now here's something I'm gonna have to do, is I will be putting the actor's name on the video. I'm just gonna say the character's name and put the actor's name on there because I'm not gonna pronounce them right or even remember them. The supporting cast, most of them of course are Japanese, are really good. They're really good in this movie. The girl that plays Yukio, I like her in this movie. She's very sassy. She's sassy. She's intimidating. She's adorable as hell. I just enjoy her. She's very much the cute, badass anime sidekick girl that you see a lot. That sticks with the hero. And I like that. I really do like her in this movie. And I'm also glad that they didn't make her the romantic interest, and just made her the friend, because they saved that for Mariko, who is the romantic interest for Wolverine in this movie. And again, I like her too. Because again, and while the majority of the movie she's kidnapped and Wolverine has to rescue her, you can tell she can hold her own as well. Like, she was like, yeah, I've had some training. I believe I know how to use knives. She knows how to use knives. She's pretty badass, and when she's badass, she's kind of badass in this movie. But again, she can hold her own, and you sympathize with her. She's not annoying or anything in this movie, and I really do like her in this movie. Guy that plays Shinjin, the father, Mariko's father, is the best villain in this movie. And I'll get to the other villains in a minute. I think he's fucking evil. Like, he wanted, after his father died, he wanted to get the company, but his father's like, you're not, I don't believe you're suitable for this role. And so that ends up having him wanting to murder his daughter. And the fight between him and Wolverine was awesome. He's fucking awesome in this movie. And I need to see him in 47 Ronin, even though I heard it's not really a good movie, but I heard he's like the best thing in that movie, and I really want to see it. But yeah, I want to see more of this guy. This guy is really awesome. The guy that plays Harada is actually pretty cool too. Like, and he's unlike his comic book counterpart, he's a good guy in this movie, or he's a conflicted good guy. He's one who's honor bound, and he's a ninja, which is cool. He's very much honor bound, even though he knows the people he's working with are evil, but he sees them as a means to an end. Hell, he even says that. But he doesn't, but because of his honor, he doesn't realize the negative repercussions of what he's doing. So that, and even though he's not in it as much, he's given enough of an arc to where you kind of sympathize with him. Let's see. Yeah, that's about it on the good characters. Now to get to the bad ones. And this is where the movie kind of falls apart. Alright. So I said I love this movie. And I mean it. I really do. Hell, I bought the unrated version on Blu-ray. I will say this though. The thing about this movie that makes it from being a perfect movie, and of course I know, let me reiterate that, from making it, in my opinion, a perfect movie, a perfect Wolverine movie, is the third act, or at least the final scene, and also the villains. I'll get to the final scene in a minute. The villains are horrible in this movie, except for Shinjin. Shinjin is a good villain. I really like Shinjin in this movie, but he's not the main villain, which is really, really disappointing. No, the main villains in this movie is Viper and Wolverine's dying friend, the head, the grandfather, Mariko's grandfather. Mr. Yoshida, who Wolverine knew back in World War II when Allied forces bombed Nagasaki. Yeah, let me get to that. That's an awesome opening scene, is Wolverine outrunning Nagasaki. That's awesome. That's an awesome scene. The thing is, though, the character is really bad in this. You figure out who the main villain is pretty early on, but it feels completely out of place with how this character was introduced. Now and this is what it is. It's a big conspiracy to try and get Wolverine to come to Japan to give up his immortality willingly. When he doesn't do that, when he refuses, he goes, Mr. Yoshida dies, he doesn't, but he is still dying. He kidnaps Mariko later on in the film to get Wolverine to come there so he can take his healing factor away forcefully so he won't die. He even says, like, I don't want to die. I didn't want to die back in 1945. I don't want to, and I'm not ready to die now. Please give me your healing factor. You immediately know who the villain is. The thing is, it's so confusing on the character that he was introduced as. He seemed like a very decent, honorable person who wasn't ready to die because he wanted to live more. And Wolverine gave him that chance, and for years he was obsessed with Wolverine's healing factor because he didn't want to die. But what was the full motivation, or what was the full goal on that? Was he just gonna get his healing factor and immediately and like run the company as like his bastard son or whatever? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. The plan is really, really stupid. And it's completely out of the character we were introduced to. Which is why I found him to be a really bad villain. Not to mention, he's the Silver Samurai. And the Silver Samurai is this giant robotic suit. And he even says the suit is the only thing that's keeping him alive. Iron Man much? Really? I didn't like the character. I felt the character was, nothing against the actor. Insert name here. But I felt like he was wasted. Or not wasted, but just not properly handled, sorry. He didn't feel menacing at all. But he's not the worst. Silver Samurai may not have been handled well, since Harada, the ninja, is actually the Silver Samurai in the comics, which means he was supposed to be a dick anyway, who works for the Yakuza, but they didn't do that. But he's not the worst. The Silver Samurai of this movie is not the worst villain in this movie. No. The distinct honor of that goes to Viper. Viper is the worst villain I have seen in a long time. And I mean the worst. I'll say this. In my last review, I said that January Jones acted like she didn't give a shit about the movie. She wasn't gonna give it her all. She just completely acted bored. She didn't give a shit. She's not as bad as this girl is. Because this character, and other people have said this before, this Viper is pretty much Poison Ivy. She is over the top in this movie, which, while I have no problem with over the top villains, it doesn't fit the tone of this movie. It really doesn't. She was hamming it up like she doesn't give a shit. And I said the same thing about January Jones it's like, oh, it's a comic book movie. I'm not even gonna try. Here, she was like, oh, it's a comic book movie. I'm gonna try too much because it's a comic book movie. I don't need to be an actor. I just need to be over the top, blah, blah, blah. No, not for a movie this dark. This dark, you've got to be fucking menacing. And she's not. If anything, she's really laughable. I didn't like this character at all. and why she had to be a mutant in the first place, since Viper is not a mutant in the comics. And hell, Viper is actually also Madam Hydra in the Marvel comics, which I'm still trying to figure out why they couldn't just put Madam Hydra in MCU anyway. They made them they could have made them two different characters anyway. But anyway, but I just don't like that character, and this is where I'm going with the third act. Like I said, there was this big conspiracy to get Wolverine's healing factor, which was really confusing anyway. What was the purpose? It's a huge tonal shift from the rest of the movie. The rest of the movie is really dark. Like I said, dark, gritty, and violent. The final scenes are not. They're really, it's like a Marvel Studios movie, actually. Big CGI fest. You could have done something better than that, though. You're going with a samurai movie, a modern day comic book samurai movie. You could have done something with that. You could have really done something with that. But they didn't, and it was a wasted opportunity on something that could have been really, really cool. Especially with Wolverine having his healing factor. He's got his claws, which by the way look a bit like katanas this time around, which is again really cool. And he could have used a samurai sword too. He really could have. He could have gone against Silver Samurai in a one-on-one duel. And if anyone should have been immune, it should have been Silver Samurai, not Viper. And I said this about X-Men Origins Wolverine because it was justified, because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing here. And I really, really don't want to say it about this movie because I love this movie. This is a really good movie. This is a really good Wolverine movie. But I feel like this movie could have been a little like the comics, where it's a mafia movie. It's a Japanese mafia movie mixed with samurais. They could have stuck with that instead of giving us a third act where they're in like an immune lab, whatever. They could have taken that out and just made it a mafia movie or something like that. And I don't like saying that, because I like this movie. I really do. This was actually my favorite comic book movie of 2013. This really was. This was the comic book movie I wanted in 2013. And it was my least anticipated movie. Man of Steel, I was looking forward more to Man of Steel. And as much as I liked that movie, it was a little disappointing for me. Wolverine was the complete opposite. While yes, I was looking forward to it, I didn't think it was going to be great. I didn't think it was going to be awesome, but it was. It was everything I was not expecting. Now, again, the third act wasn't great. And they could have done something different with it. But I like this movie still. I really do. The action is really good in this movie. The action is violent, is brutal. Hell, my favorite scene is the bullet train scene. The bullet train scene is awesome because there's no music going on. It's just the train. It's like, and it's just Wolverine killing people. That's awesome. That was an awesome scene. The action is really good. It didn't need a bunch of CGI in it, except for a few times. The acting is top notch in this movie, especially from Hugh Jackman. Like I said, Hugh Jackman's at the top of his game. Kudos to the supporting cast, especially Yukio and Mariko, who. This is actually technically their first movie, or at least their first American movie. This is their acting debut in this movie, and they're really good. I recommend this for anybody. For anyone who's a Wolverine fan, I recommend this. It's a really good movie. So with that said, I give the Wolverine an 8 out of 10. This movie is really good. I like it, despite the flaws of the villains and the final act. It's still a damn good movie. I enjoy it. I've seen it about 4 times since it came out in theaters. I mean, I only saw it once in theaters, but after I bought it on DVD or Blu-ray, I saw it on Blu-ray, and I really did like it. I saw it more than once on Blu-ray, so I did enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's all I got to say about the Wolverine. Really good movie, highly recommend it. And again, also mid-credit scene for Days of Future Past, fucking awesome. I mean, I knew it was coming, but I didn't expect what they did. It's a really cool scene, and I am looking forward to Days of Future Past. So I'll see you guys tomorrow with X-Men Days of Future Past, and that will conclude X-Men week for us. Bye.